Hey everybody, today we are going to talk about ratios. So what's a ratio? A ratio is a comparison of two quantities. So ratios can be written as fractions or in the form A is to B. So when you see this right here, you read this as A is to B. Okay, it's the same thing as A over B. All right? So, 2 red crayons to 6 blue crayons. So if we wanted to write that, we would have 2 to 6. Okay? Or we could write it like this, 2 is to 6. 1 red crayon for every 3 blue crayons. So we could write that as 1 to 3 or 1 to 3, like that. 3 blue crayons for 1 red crayon. Okay, what's the difference there? Well, that's just going to be 3 to 1 instead of 1 to 3. 3 blue crayons for each red crayon. Okay, so that would be also that would be 3 to 1 or 3 to 1 like this. 3 blue crayons out of every 4 crayons. Now this is a different type of ratio, but you can still do it. This would be 3 to 4. And then we've got, so that's 3 out of every 4 would be blue. And then we've got 2 red crayons out of 8 crayons. So we would say that 2 out of every 8 would be red crayons. So we'd write it as 2 to 8. Or you can reduce that to 1 to 4. Okay. So, moving right along. So here we have a bunch of coins, and we want to write some ratios. So write the ratio of pennies to quarters. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to count the number of pennies. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pennies. Okay. And then we'll count how many quarters we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this would be 6 is to 7, or we could write it as 6 sevenths like this. Write the ratio of quarters to dimes. Okay, so again we have 7 quarters we counted. So that would be 7 is to, now how many dimes we have? 1, 2, 3 dimes. So 7 to 3 or 7 thirds. Write the ratio of nickels to pennies. Okay, well we have 1 nickel and we have 6 pennies. So 1 to 6 or 1 to 6. And the ratio of dimes to pennies. So we had 1, 2, 3 dimes, and we had 6 pennies. So it'd be 3, 6. Okay, the circle graph shows the favorite ice cream toppings for several students. Use ratio language to compare the number of students who prefer peanuts to the total number of students. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to figure out, we know how many like peanuts. That's easy, that's 5. Okay, but what we have to do is figure out how many total students there are. So we're going to take 9 plus 4 is 13, plus 1 is 14, plus 5 is 19. So this is 5 is to 19. So 5 out of every 19 students like peanuts. Okay, so oops, I got a stray box up here, it looks like. Let's get rid of that. Okay, the ratio of your monthly allowance to your friend's monthly allowance is 5 to 3. Now, one of the ways you can do this is you can do it with these are like called tiles. Okay, so your ratio of your monthly allowance to your friend's monthly allowance is 5 to 3, and the total of the monthly allowances is $40. So how much is each allowance? So you look here and you go, well, you get 5 parts and your friend gets 3 parts, and together these total 40. Okay, so how much is each part? Well, there's 8 total parts. Okay, so if I take 40 and I divide that by 8, that's $5. Okay, so each one of these tiles represents $5. Okay, so now you can figure out how much each allowance is. So your allowance is $25, and your friend's allowance is $15. And you're done. Okay, you separate 42 garlic bulbs into 2 groups, one for planting and the other for cooking. You're going to plant 3 bulbs for every 4 bulbs that you cook with. Okay, so our ratio then, let's go ahead and write it down, is going to be 3:4, where this is planted, to cooked. Okay, each bulb has 8 cloves. How many cloves are you going to plant? And you've got a total of 42 garlic bulbs. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is figure out, well, how many parts do I have here? So if I have 3 that I'm going to plant, and I have 4 I'm going to cook, that's a total of 7 bulbs here. Okay, so I have a total of 42. Well, 7 times 6 is 42. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply each one of these by 6. So it's going to be 3 times 6 to 4 times 6, or 18 to 24. Okay, so now that's bulbs. So I'm going to plant 18 bulbs, and I'm going to cook 24 bulbs. All right, now, if they each have 8, how many am I going to plant? Oh, this should say cloves, by the way, instead of coves. Cloves. I'm going to plant 18 times 8 cloves. That's 64. That's going to be 144 cloves. Okay. So if each one of these cloves in each piece of garlic, if I plant it, I'm going to get a new garlic the next year. So there's usually, I don't know, 10 or 12 cloves in a garlic. Apparently 8 in this particular kind. Okay, so you're going to get to do problems 1 through 29 in class next time. I look forward to seeing you guys, and I will talk with you later.